Can you impart enough spin on the ball to deceive the receiver when tossing it from your open palm? Let's check this out with the help of the SpinSight app, if you don't mind. Almost a century ago, some players would toss the ball using their fingertips to generate a significant and confusing spin so that their serves were very hard to read in return. That's why the service rule now stipulate that the ball must be tossed from the open palm of the stationary free hand. I tried to explain in a previous video why I find the part of the current rule that states that the server must toss the ball without imparting spin outdated, not to say useless, since the service must now start with the ball resting freely on the open palm of the free hand. A vast majority of people agreed about that in the comments, but there were also a few people convinced that the French player was cheating here by deliberately rolling the ball onto her fingertips in order to generate a significant enough spin, able to deceive her opponent. Well, let's see what really happens on the receiver's racket when you do that. First experiment. Let me perform a standard toss and then a very simple, flat, no spin serve. SpinSight tells me that the ball spins at 22 revolutions per second here, which is quite logical given the fact that we are talking about a small, light and spherical object that is propelled forward on a wooden plane surface. This is basic physics. Now let me try again and cheat blatantly this time by imparting as much spin as I can when tossing the ball from my open palm. Well, first of all, it's really not easy to toss vertically this way, but eventually after several attempts, I did succeed. I really did everything I could to cheat as badly as I could, which requires a rather obviously abnormal gesture, by the way. Anyway, in the end, SpinSight has detected a very similar type and amount of spin here. Only 23 rotations per second, despite my efforts to deceive my opponent, with a very, very slight right side spin due to the angle of my racket at ball-to-racket contact, whereas my free arm cheaty move was supposed to add some kind of left deflected side spin. Now see the difference when I perform a standard deflected left side spin serve. This is what significant spin means. Please, if you still think after watching this video that this rule is useful and that one can definitely deceive the receiver with extra spin despite a standard toss gesture, try this experiment yourself in your club. I'm sure you will realize that when tossing the ball from the open palm of a stationary free hand, there is not much you can do about toss spin impartation. Our sport needs simpler rules to make the game smoother to watch and easier for everyone to understand. This is just one example of possible rule simplification, among a few others. Another one is the open palm matter. Perfectly or partially open. What difference does it really make in the end, honestly?